It's hard to think of March Madness without Duke. Over the years, the university has rolled out a long list of basketball stars, many of them black. A new documentary celebrates the impact of a prominent player at a pivotal time in history. Queen City News reporter John Lee has the story in tonight's Faces of the Carolinas.
It is literally one of the biggest brands in sport on a global level.
The Duke Blue Devils are one of the blue bloods of college basketball, with a rich history that includes black stars from Johnny Dawkins to Grant Hill. Long before this who's who of hoops, a lesser-known trailblazer left his mark, C.B. Claiborne.
I hope they take away how people being true to their values and being true to what they think is right can actually have a positive impact in the society.
I didn't think of myself as just a basketball player. I was part of a group of students that was trying to change this campus.
Duke's first black basketball player is the subject of a documentary called CB, Power to the Player. Filmmakers Dr. Javier Wallace, Fumi Ogunro, and Dr. Martin Smith produced a short documentary with plans for a feature-length version. Wallace also works at Duke as a postdoctoral associate.
But realizing how important the men's basketball program is to the university as a brand on a global scale, it just blew me away how this person who had made so much impact wasn't recognized.
He sacrificed playing time in order to protest for the rights of black students.
One of the pathways of making change in the South in the 60s was actually athletics.
Claiborne came to the campus 6 decades ago, just 2 years after the first black students were integrated.
When I came to Duke, there was a kind of systematic exclusion of black students. And it was true throughout the South. I mean, that was the time.
He didn't come to Duke just to be at Duke. He came to Duke as a change maker in society.
Of course, '65 was one of the high points of the civil rights movement. Claiborne wanted to play a role in change outside the lines with a list of demands for Duke administrators.
Things like hiring the first black faculty member, getting an African-American studies program, having an impact on wage relationships with the workers at Duke. So yeah, those things actually came to be.
Which is why we want to create a feature-length version of this film so that we can talk more in depth about his life at Duke, his life after Duke, and his life before Duke.
Claiborne accomplished so much, but sacrificed a lot, says Smith.
What if he was able to devote all his energy and time to basketball and to studying? And he doesn't have to think about protests. He doesn't have to think about racial abuse, racial taunts. How much more could he have done?
He didn't make it to the NBA, but Wallace says his place in Duke basketball history is a slam dunk.
And he participated in that change to give us what Duke basketball is to the world now.
What I'm particularly proud of is that the portrayal is of more than just the basketball players.
For one, he paved the way for Duke's greatest basketball players.
Good gracious alive!
John Lee, Queen City News.
CB Power to the Player will be submitted and screened at film festivals across the country.